Hashtags are no longer working on Instagram. It used to be where we would post about 27 to 30 different hashtags in all of our content, and it would help us reach our target audience easier and faster. Well, all of that has changed on the Instagram platform. And so I'm going to tell you 5 things to know about Instagram hashtags and how they change, but what you can do differently to keep growing your account on Instagram. So, welcome back to another episode of the Keenya Kelly podcast, where we talk about all things business, marketing your business, social media, and all the things. We are back for another episode, and I am excited to talk to you today. I do have to tell you something though. So, if you've noticed that my show has not been consistent the last couple of weeks, it is because we were moving podcast hosting platforms from one hosting service over back to Buzzsprout, and we were having issues with the podcast hosting that we were leaving to making everything work on Buzzsprout. So sometimes you would see 2 shows pop up at one time and all the things, but I think potentially that everything is squared away. Fingers crossed. If you are hearing this episode on Tuesday, please come to me on Instagram and say, hey, I heard today's episode on, the podcast player. Let me know. If you're on YouTube, it's one thing. YouTube is just fine. But if you're listening to this, come and tell me on Instagram. That's going to let me know, okay, it's working. It's being pushed out. All right. So now we got that out of the way. I want to talk to you about 5 things to know about the Instagram hashtags and what has changed. So we all know that social media is ever evolving, as we are as people, as our businesses are, and so is the Instagram platform, and as well as people on Instagram, us as users, consumers, we are changing. And so because of all of that, what was working when it comes to hashtags is like pretty much obsolete, right? I'm not saying don't use hashtags, but I'm telling you that there's some things to just know about if you're going to continue having success on Instagram, that here's what you have to know about hashtags, so that way you're doing the right things to help you with what you want to accomplish. So one of the first things I want you to note is all about SEO. And SEO stands for search engine optimization. And what that means is that there is things that people search. There are phrases, questions, and things of that nature that people search. And when it comes to us, we are looking for what we're looking for. So what we used to do is we would go to Instagram and we would type hashtag fashion, hashtag best restaurant in Houston, hashtag best church in Houston. And that hashtag was going to pull up what we were searching, because people were utilizing that particular hashtag as it pertains to the content that they were creating. So then it would come up in our search. We would also go and follow the hashtag best food in Houston, best church in Houston, or whatever. And every time somebody would create content using that hashtag, it would come across in our feed. Well, Instagram has changed. And so they are focused very heavily on what is it that people are searching. And when you are creating content, what are the phrases, words that we're using in our content, so that when people come to Instagram looking for a thing, that our content pops up. For example, I just obviously relocated here to Houston. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm looking for what to do in Houston, or single events in Houston for single, Christian singles or singles in general. And so I am not searching Christian singles in Houston or hashtag things to do in Houston. I'm just typing in what comes natural to me, which what I would do on Google. And I would just type things to do in Houston, Christian events in Houston, singles events in Houston, because that's what is my brain just naturally does when I'm searching for something. And so because of that, if you're using hashtag things to do in Houston, that is still going to work. But what I am doing is I am actually searching the phrase. So Instagram is prioritizing the content of people in terms of searchability. So if you have, let's just say Tom and John, let me see, I got some visual aids. Okay, let me see. Tom, here we go. Visual aids. All right. So Tom and John are talking about the best food to eat in Houston, both of them, right? And you're trying to get people to see it. Well, one of you guys can just type in the phrase in your content, best food in Houston, and then the other person can use the hashtag best food in Houston. What we are experiencing is that the person without the hashtag is having the best searchability because people's behavior is all about SEO, search engine optimization, and Instagram is focused more on SEO. So instead of instead of all the way focusing on hashtag best food in Houston, you want to actually put the phrase in of what people are searching for. Best catfish in Houston, best crawfish boil in Houston, best place to go on a date in Houston. You want to type in those phrases or those words in your content so that the SEO can kick in. Which brings me to my second point is that we are just not searching via hashtag anymore. We're just not doing it, right? I don't know the last time that I have gone to the Instagram platform and I have typed in hashtag something. I don't like, just think about your own behavior. How often are you going to Instagram and typing in hashtag something? You might be doing it some, but you're darn sure not doing it as much as you used to because that's just not what's happening on the platform. And so, because you are not searching for it, then that means that millions of other people are not searching for it either. So, Instagram's job, again, as I said earlier, is to focus on what are people actually doing, and what they're actually doing is they're searching phrases, which again is search engine optimization, SEO. The third reason why hashtags are not working as well is because of hashtag saturation. Oftentimes we would use just generic hashtags, right? So hashtag marketing, hashtag social media marketing, right? For me. And it's just there's millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of content on that. And so it's just highly saturated. So meaning if you're gonna use hashtags, or if I was gonna use hashtags today, I would use hashtag Instagram Reels marketing for businesses, Instagram Reels marketing for female entrepreneurs, female product-based business owners, trying to literally get to my person, right? Because the generic ones just have millions and millions, some billions of views because people have used hashtags so much for so long. Not that it was bad, it's just that was what we were doing. And so because of that saturation, it's not as effective as it used to be. Which brings me to my fourth point is that if you are going to use hashtags, you have to focus on niche specific hashtags. Okay. For example, I teach people how to use Instagram Reels and TikTok for business, right? I can't do hashtag TikTok for business, hashtag Instagram Reels for business, because there's probably so many creators focused on that, right? But what I can do is I can do hashtag, which is product-based business marketing, right? Or let's just say hashtag how to market wigs on Instagram, how to market dog products on Instagram, right? So I can try to get directly to who I'm trying to target, right? Because again, that hashtags are so saturated. There's so much content, so much views on it that we just get kind of lost in the mix of what's going on there. That if you're going to use hashtags, then you've got to narrow it down a lot more, right? So I've been doing a lot of CapCut tutorials. So I could do hashtag CapCut tutorials for beginners, right? Hashtag CapCut tutorials for course creators, right? And that way it's the same as CapCut tutorials, but I'm getting very close to who it is I'm trying to target. And that is going to allow us to reach exactly who we're trying to reach a lot easier and a lot faster if we choose to use hashtags. And then my fifth point, the reason why hashtags are no longer working is because Instagram cares more about engagement than they do hashtags. Instagram cares more about engagement than they do hashtags. Why? Because they want people on the platform and engaging. And of course, they have been in this whole competition with TikTok, which I get. And so those of us that are getting people to actually engage on our content are having way more success than the people that are utilizing hashtags. So if you're going to choose to use hashtags, you should, why not? Make sure that your number one focus is engagement, not the hashtag. Get people to comment and engage with you. You actually engage back with them, comment, like, do all the things when they're doing things on your content. That's going to help you more than anything, because ultimately you're trying to interact with a human, trying to get somebody to like, follow, and buy your product or service. The easiest way for that to happen is that you have to actually engage with them. Okay. So I'm going to go over the 5 again. I'm going to look at my list. So 1, Instagram is focused heavily on SEO. Number 2, people are not searching through hashtags like they used to. Number 3, there's a lot of hashtag saturation with billions of views. Number 4, if you're going to use hashtags, you got to focus on niche specific hashtags. And then number 5, you want to focus on engagement over hashtags. Now, if you are here and you're like, all right, this is great, I still need to know how to grow on Instagram. Okay, if that's you, then I want you to join my 3-day Instagram Reels and TikTok challenge. It starts in 2 weeks. I'm going to be teaching you for 3 straight days how to use Instagram Reels and TikTok to build an online community, grow an email list, and ultimately sell your products and services. Now, the challenge is free. All you have to do is go to KenyaKelly.com/challenge, or the link is in the description and in the show notes, and you can register. But listen, it's free. So you got to show up, and you got to show up there live. All right. So it's going to start on October the 20-something, in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Monday. And we want you to join us. Okay. So go to KenyaKelly.com/challenge and join our Instagram Reels and TikTok challenge. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching.